Welcome, everybody, to the Montreal Expos franchise. The Expos are entering the month of June 33-24, off to our greatest start of this series. And you know what? We're still only the 28th ranked team as far as just team overall goes, and we are having this much success here in season number 3. We are the top spot in the wild card, and I'm very, very happy with how we're doing here in this third season. Now, looking at who we're going to be facing to open this episode, we will be facing Efrain Handy and the Oakland Athletics. Now, remember, Efrain Handy was the first generational prospect in this series back in season 1, and the Athletics had another chance to get another one, but obviously we drafted him in Luis Avila. And then they also had the number 1 pick last year, and they drafted Joseph Norris, who has moved up from AA. He was hitting like 400 at the AA level. Now he's out to a pretty good start at AAA. And they also have Xavier Curry, who is our former pitcher. We let him go in the offseason for nothing, and he was picked up by the rebuilding Athletics. Coming off of last episode, we're still having issues with finding a center fielder, so we once again moved up another prospect in Quincy Hamilton to make his debut. I'm just looking for somebody who's going to pop a little bit, somebody that can show flashes of being a great center fielder. I don't know where we're going to find that guy, but we've tried like 5 or 6 different center fielders. Now Quincy Hamilton gets his opportunity to show what he can showcase at the MLB level today. This pitching matchup will be John Means, and obviously Xavier Curry. Means was signed a year ago in the offseason. He's off to a pretty decent start this year. He's got good numbers, and obviously facing our former pitcher who never really stuck in the starting rotation, but we'll see what he can do today. Here is Juan Soto on the top of the first inning. He turns on one to right field. That one gets all the way to the wall. Quincy Hamilton plays it off the wall in center, and the Athletics have a man on second with Efrain Handy, their generational prospect, coming to the plate, hitting .256 this year, and he swings at one in the dirt, and that will be strike him out and drop third, strike out to first. Here is Quincy Hamilton now with his first MLB at bat as he faces Curry. A little easier of a pitching matchup. I wanted to make it so that Hamilton at least has a pitcher that actually can hit pretty well. Now brings it to a 2-2 pitch, and he gets a good fastball on the inside half of the plate, and he just skies this one to center field for the first out of the game here for the Expos. Here is Cal Mitchell to the plate, hitting .320 this year. He hits one to the left center gap. That one makes it to the wall. Can Cal Mitchell compete for the batting title this year? That is the big question. Man, I love Cal Mitchell. I can't believe we found him in this series. He's just one of those guys that really shows up day in and day out. Here is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He skies this one deep to left field. This one's back at the wall, and it just stays in the yard as Stephen Kwan is there at the warning track, and Vladimir Guerrero just gets under it. 2 outs now as that brings up the red-hot Blake Sabol. He gets one up in the zone. This one's driven deep to right field. Soto back to the wall. It's a home run. A 2-run shot here in the bottom of the first inning, and Blake Sabol gives us a 2-0 lead for his 9th home run of the year. In the offseason, after everything was said and done, we acquired Blake Sabol to be that fill-in catcher until Luis Avila was ready, but he has really shown up here in this series so far with the Montreal Expos. Here in the 5th inning, though, John Means gives up a double here to Tyler Soderstrom as that brings up Jose Ramos, who was drafted back in Season 2's draft, already here at the MLB level. He hits one to right field. That's going to be fair, and it will score a run and cuts this lead down to just 1. Ramos was actually drafted in the first-year player draft, actually, not the second. Here's a shot to center field, and that's a diving attempt by Quincy Hamilton. It gets all the way to the wall, and it will be a triple, and the game is tied. Well, if you want a way to make a bad impression, try doing something like that, diving after a ball that you had no business diving after, and it ties the ball game up. Here is Stephen Kwan at the plate. He hits one to second base, and that one will be a ground out. But a run does come across, and now it is a 3-2 lead here for the Athletics. As that brings up Ryan Noda to the plate. He swings and misses, and we do get out of this 5th inning. But now we're down by 1. Augustus Macklin facing his former teammate. That one's hit to left field, and Macklin hasn't been hitting well for average. He's still hitting around 220, 230. But obviously the Rookie of the Year has a lot of developing to do. He's still really young. I'm not too worried about him. Joe Adell hits one up the middle. That's a perfect swing right there. And now we have a man in scoring position with Quincy Hamilton to the plate. 0 for 2 today. He hangs on that one and hits it up the middle. That one will be a base knock, and it ties this ball game up for Hamilton's first career MLB hit. 1 for 3 to start his MLB career. Hopefully he continues to hit the ball like that. And now we have runners on the corners here with the red-hot Cal Mitchell hitting .320 on the year. He turns on this one, but just a fly ball to right field. And now we move into the back half of this game with a tie score here at 3 apiece. Addison Barger to the plate now in the bottom of the 7th inning. He hits one well to left field. This one back at the track, and it will hit off of the bottom of the wall, and it will be a stand-up double here for Barger. And just remember, last year he led the NL in triples with 10, and he has 10 doubles on the year. So that brings up Hamilton now with 1 out again, and he gets clunked in the back. So he's at least got aboard 2 of his 5 at-bats today, as that brings up Cal Mitchell. 1 out here in the 7th. He hits one to left center. Stephen Kwan giving chase, and he runs this one down with an excellent diving grab. Hamilton does get back to first safely. But what a play, saving 1, maybe 2 runs on that one. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to the plate. He hits one well to the left side. That one's knocked down by Handy. Guerrero will beat this one out as well. So now we have bases loaded with Blake Sabol to the plate, one of the hottest hitters in all of baseball. He's 2 for 3 today. He has that 2-run home run in the first, a single in the 4th. And here we go, a 3-2 pitch. Runners are moving, and he swings at this one and turns on it. It's not coming back. A no-doubt home run for the former San Francisco Giant Blake Sabol. There are some guys in the show that just hit well, and Blake Sabol is incredible versus right-handed pitching. He has a 90 clutch rating, a 90 contact versus right. As we move into the top of the 9th inning now with a comfortable 4-run lead. Jamal Watson in for this one. Ground ball to second, and we do get the victory off of a 6 RBI game from Blake Sabol. Incredible display. Jamal Watson actually gets the save on that one. His 17th of the season. And Oakland comes into our house, and we show him the bats. And how about Blake Sabol, along with the other power hitters we have on this team? We are actually top 5 in home runs, which is something we were not a season ago. So I want to get a closer look at Blake Sabol because he is hitting so well. His average is up to 300 now. His OPS is over 950. He has just been incredible. Here facing the Red Sox, he gets absolutely fooled on that curveball right over the middle of the plate. As we move on to the bottom of the 4th inning, we'll see if he gets his revenge, and he does. This one's driven deep to left field. It's gone. Blake Sabol. The funny thing about Sabol is not only is he a good hitter, but he is a versatile fielder as well. He is a catcher with his primary position, but he can also play corner infield and corner outfield. So he is a guy that is super versatile, and I really like what he brings to the table. On to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Expos are down 7-3, but Blake Sabol is still going to stay hot. That one's hit to the right center gap. It gets all the way to the wall for a double. Caps off a 2-for-4 day. 3 RBIs for Sabol, his 10th double of the season as well. He also can run very well. I mean, he is just one of those impressive players in MLB The Show. And this year we found a hidden gem, I think, in Sabol and also Cal Mitchell. And I want to take a look at Cal Mitchell as well because he's hitting .319, .320 on the year, and he's only 67 overall, one of the best hitters in all of baseball right now. His slugging percentage isn't great because he's just not great at slugging, but getting on base is really his specialty. And he's also 4th in the NL in batting to start this season going into the month of June. And he's riding a 19-game hitting streak facing the Boston Red Sox here at home. We'll see if he can get to the elusive 20-game hitting streak for, I think, our best player last year, to be honest, overall. It was Cal Mitchell. So here we go. He's 0 for 2 in this one, looking for his first hit of this game, and he hits one to the right side. And this one could end his hitting streak, but luckily he gets one more crack at it here in the bottom of the 8th inning as the Expos tack on 2 runs. It's now a 6-2 ball game facing Isaiah Campbell out of the bullpen. He gets one over the middle. This one's driven to center field, and it does drop. And Joe Adell will score from second, and Cal Mitchell extends his hitting streak to 20 games. How impressive is this kid? 27 years old. We discovered him. He was really just pretty much a let's see if we can find something trade type of guy. We got him back in season 1 where we traded for him from the Padres for peanuts, and it ends up turning out to be an amazing trade. He has not escaped the top of the lineup at all. Like, he's been hitting at the top of the lineup this entire series so far since he's been at the MLB level, and he has not looked back. So we enter the month of June, and this team is really, really hitting the ball well. We are scoring runs. You can just see the scores in a lot of these games: 14-3, 7-3, 7-5, 4-1, 3-1, 10-9. I mean, we are putting up runs and even sweeping teams like this in the middle of the schedule here. We swept the Brewers at home, and now we go and play the Angels at home. We end up losing 3-5, winning 3-2, and then we lose a big one 2-11. Then we start to go a little cold a little bit. We start to lose a few games, but now we go on the road to face Miami, and Bill Hedger is on his own hitting streak as well at 10 games. He is one of the front runners for Rookie of the Year. We knew that coming into this series. He was such a good prospect. He won Minor Leaguer of the Year for us last year. His OPS is around 850. He's hitting the ball pretty well. Facing Braxton Garrett, and he excels hitting versus left-handed pitching as well. So he should get a pitch to hit here. He does. It's on the outside half, but he is a bit early on that one. He doesn't quite have the luck that Cal Mitchell has. His hit streak will end at 10 games, and the Marlins end up beating us in their home territory, as they are still a team that's rebuilding at the bottom of the NL East. But we do lose versus them, and now we sit here still in second place in the division, and I just love the position that we're in here in this series. Our current roster strategy says rebuilding, but we are not rebuilding. I think we are really contending at this point. And looking at, who we have in our minor league system now, we have guys that are very, very young and developing very fast. One of those guys is Gary Shoemaker, who used to be our number 1 prospect in baseball, but now he has moved down to the number 5 prospect due to how great our draft was last year. And I want to take a closer look at him because he is close to moving up to the MLB. But to be honest, there's really no rush. He's still 21. He is a higher overall than Cody Bradford is, but Cody Bradford's actually pitching pretty well. So I don't really see a reason to move him up, but I do want to check him out just in case, and I want to have him ready to go just in case one of our starters gets hurt, because you never know when that type of thing can happen. So we go down to the Rochester Red Wings. They are facing the Syracuse Mets here on the road, as here's Gary Shoemaker. He gets a start today. He's got 9 quality starts and 15 total starts this year, as he gets to fly out to right field from Jet Williams. That brings up the 2-spot hitter and a low changeup, and that's a swinging strike 3. One of the things that I really wanted to develop with Shoemaker is his command, and he has definitely improved. When he was a 19-year-old prospect back in season number 1, he threw the ball hard, but he had very loose control. His command was absolutely horrible. But now he gets batters to swing and miss at pitches out of the zone, and that's something that he didn't do, as here's a ground ball to third. Buddy Kennedy over to second, and it's a double play. And this was something that Shoemaker could not do. Getting out of jams was definitely not his specialty, but now you can see he's locating these pitches in spots that make it pretty tough to get hits, especially with 2 strikes. And that's the one thing that I've loved developing with him. It's really that command. Runners on first and second here, 1 out. Here's a chopper to short. This one over to second, on to first. And now they have runners on the corners here on the fielder's choice. And these are the situations that I really covet. Can he get out of this jam? It's a 1-2 pitch, and that's a hard liner to first base. But we do get out of that as Jax Biggers does hold on to that liner. Bottom 5 now. Shoemaker continuing to rule this game so far in a 1-0 game. That brings up Perez here in the bottom of the 5th, 1 out. He hits one well to left field, and that one will be a single for the Rochester Mets. I can't believe I just said Rochester Mets, Syracuse Mets, as that brings up the 9-hole hitter. He hits one well to right field, and that is the right fielder Levi Hanks, who has been developing in our farm system as well. And now that brings up 2 outs. 3-2 pitch for Jet Williams. He hits one well to the right side. That one gets through the infield. Runners were on the move. Runner was on the move, but he will only get to second base on that one. As Shoemaker has given up a couple of hits in this one. As that brings up Josh Richmond, a guy we were looking to draft last draft. He hits one up the middle, knocked down by Shoemaker, and it will be the 3rd out of the inning. Our Rochester Red Wings do get the victory in this game, but I really just wanted to see Gary Shoemaker in this one and make sure that he's ready when his name is called. I'm not sure when that will be, and you know what? It might not even be this year. I think we have that flexibility. He went 5 innings, did give up 4 walks, though. That's a little too many, but he did only give up 1 earned run, and he ended up not getting the win in this one. It was a no decision for him. But a pretty good outing from our young prospect. So coming out of that game, we actually get a trade offer from the Angels. We haven't gotten one of these in a very, very long time. So I'm interested to see who they would want. We already made one trade with them, getting Joe Adell. And they have offered outfield prospect Jordan Adams for Christian Arroyo. Let's look at Jordan Adams. He has pretty good contact. Pretty good just all around the board, you know, a decent hitter. At 26 years old, he is at the AAA level. Out on 122 at-bats, he is hitting .279, which is actually not too bad. .348 on base percentage and a .791 OPS. These are actually not bad numbers at all, and he's got a pretty good, you know, contract to him. And he's 26. I mean, this is actually a decent-looking prospect, and they want Christian Arroyo. Now, it's interesting that they want Arroyo. We just picked him up in the Rule 5 draft. He's had 80 at-bats up to this point, and he has just been rusty. I mean, he didn't have 2 years at the MLB level, and I picked him up as more of a versatile guy, but getting a trade offer like this, it just makes sense. I mean, why not do it? So we will actually accept this trade. This is like the first trade that I've got as an offer and just accept it right away. I think it's good enough that we could add to our depth and maintain still that success at the MLB level without truly rebuilding. And I look at Jordan Adams, he just fits right into that center field job mix. He is 26, which means that, you know, he's got to show what he can do sooner rather than later. But we're in no rush, but he's going to get his shot at the MLB this game. I'm going to just give him some at-bats and then move him right back down to AAA. That's probably the plan. But I just want to see what he does in his first MLB action. There's really no risk to it at all. It was just a trade that we just got for Christian Arroyo, which is a guy that we did not have any future plans for. So this is just kind of a low-risk trade, and now we're throwing him into the lineup to see what he can do in that 7 spot. So he is technically our number 26 ranked prospect in our organization, as he does get the start in center field versus the Toronto Blue Jays, as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. gets to face his former team today. as he does get it to a full count here with nobody on. He hits this one well to left field, but it just hangs up in the air. That was a really good pitch to hit, by the way, and that one will be a fly out to left field. Now in a 4-1 game in his second AB, he swings that one up in the zone, just a little late on that one, and it will be an 0-for-2 start for his Montreal debut. Now in his third AB, 0-for-2 today, another good pitch and good timing on the swing, but just a fly ball to center field now, as he is 0-for-3 today, and hopefully he does not make it 0-for-4 as he comes to the plate now in the bottom of the 8th inning, a tie ball game at that. He gets one low, and it's a ground ball to short, and it will be not a double play, so an overthrow to first base, and Adams does make it to second, but technically he is 0-for-4 because of the fielder's choice, and not the flashiest debut, but Montreal does hold on to win that game 9-5 at home. But Jordan Adams will go back down, and I'm excited to see what he can do as far as developing. But really, it was just like I said, a pretty low risk trade that we just made. So we enter the month of July, and the MLB draft is like right around the corner. We are about halfway done with season 3. We are 49-36 competing here in the NL East. We are only a game back of the Braves, and I'm very, very happy with what we're doing this year. All 4 teams at the top of the division, the Mets, the Phillies, the Expos, and the Braves, are all above 500 and at least 5 games above 500. Like, our division is really, really good this year. But once again, another episode and more problems in center field. Like, we just cannot figure it out. I don't know what it is, but it's just something we cannot figure out at all. And I'm glad that Joe Adell is playing well, because if he wasn't, we would be in trouble in the outfield. But I do really like our situation right now. You see the current roster strategy turn from rebuilding to normal. And we have a lot of prospects. So if we want to make a move at the deadline, we definitely have the ammo to do it. But I do want to be sure that we are going to stay consistent and stay competing before even trying to go after any of these guys on the block. The top guy on the block right now was surprisingly Bo Bichette. I have no idea why the Dodgers would list him after they just signed an extension. I have no idea. An interesting guy here, though, is Jazz Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm can play everywhere on the ball diamond. He has not had much success here with the Marlins as of this year. And even though he's hitting .286, hitting pretty well, the Marlins are last in the division. They are not making the playoffs. So he's an interesting name to keep an eye on. So I am looking to possibly acquire a center fielder that has some veteran experience, not just one of these young guys, because it seems like going the young guy route isn't really working out for us. One guy that really caught my eye was Garrett Mitchell. He is kind of a boom or bust hitter. He struck out pretty much a third of his at-bats this year, but he's still hitting .319, hitting pretty well. He slugs pretty well. He's got great contact, but his fielding is really what sets him apart. He is an amazing center fielder as far as defensively goes. And the Brewers right now, they're not looking to even keep him around because of Sal Frelick in center field. So he could be an option as we enter the draft episode and the trade deadline. We'll evaluate that towards the end of July. I want to still evaluate our team for a whole calendar month before making any moves, but he is a guy to look out for. Jazz Chisholm is probably the unlikely scenario because that's obviously a division team, and division teams usually don't deal between the two, especially at the deadline. Usually MLB players switch teams within the division a whole lot. That actually happens a lot, but not via trade. It's usually via free agency, so we'll see how that goes. So that's going to do it here for this episode. Next episode, we will enter the draft. I can't wait to see what type of prospects are there and reveal those to you guys. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. Hope you guys enjoy the episode. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.
I like getting money, I got time to get it. Target on me, so my car's a tinny. Dancing with the devil, I don't bargain with it. Bobbing in the dash, and the stick is with it. And I hit the 4-5 on the west side. But I'm from the east side, this how we slide. This how we ride, yeah, this how we rider.